I was working for Marvin Krause Associates, which was a pretty big managing firm at the time, and the last show I did was The Rink, Kander and Ebb's The Rink. And I decided at that point that nothing was ever going to be that much fun again. And I couldn't keep doing it because the company management part of it was all about the people. At that point, it was all about taking care of people, and I just had so much fun. I thought, the next one's just not going to be this good, and I want to just try something else. So I stopped doing it, and I took an extended break. I went out to my folks' summer place in Rhode Island and spent the summer there and just sort of waited to see what was going to happen. I didn't know what was going to happen. And Michael Price from the Goodspeed called me. I had done a show that the Goodspeed had originated called Little Johnny Jones with Donny Osmond, and it had been at the Kennedy Center. And I went down as the assistant company manager. And Michael was around a lot because he was the executive producer, and that's how we met. And this was maybe in the early 80s. And then he called me in 1985. I was sitting at the beach, and he said, "Would you like to come out here and work with me?" And I thought, well, sure, why not? I thought it was a summer gig 20 years later. So what happened is, that's a long answer. What happened is I went out there as like the production coordinator, but they had just opened the Norma Terrace, which was their second stage. And they really needed somebody to sort of do the hands-on programming and look for the new works. And it was kind of a sideline for me, but as I grew into the job, it became much more what I did. And I kind of osmosed into producing versus managing, and that's just how it happened. It was not a design. I didn't quit managing to say I'm going to be a producer. It just, the opportunity was there, and I moved into it, and I think I was good at it. You know, I really enjoyed it. It was great. Working with the writers, developing the work. Creating a situation that is a comfortable place for people to work. I like the dramaturgy of it. I like figuring out how to fix complicated things. You know, the thing I love about musicals is it's so complex and it's so many personalities, and I love to sort of make all those personalities work together and make their best work. You know, a lot of this is theory versus practice because we're really just starting out on this. But it's also something that I know over time is going to develop. And there's a lot of people that are really interested, both from the theater end, and also the writers are much more interested than they used to be, you know. Especially when you're talking about musical theater writers. I mean, Broadway is like the big dream. Broadway is where you want to be. And the fact that that path is not as straightforward as it once was doesn't mean it's not possible, but you have to be willing to let people in, you know, somewhere less glamorous see your work first. And I think that writers have been very frustrated by the lack of producing opportunities. So they're much more willing to say, you know what, I don't care where you do it, just get it up so I can see it. And I'd like to see somebody who had to put their hard-earned money down and hire a babysitter and decide to give up an evening, come see my work. Because something that I've been in love with, you know, I want to share. And then they learn from that. And the stuff that works great in a rehearsal studio with all your friends doesn't necessarily work with a paying audience. So you have to let things go. It used to be less expensive. It used to be, and it's funny, I always reference this, it used to be really exciting for audiences to go see something brand new that they'd never seen before. And because it was less expensive, because it was less, you know, of a huge commitment, they'd be more inclined to do it. You know, that sort of tryout path, people used to flock to the Schubert New Haven to see something they'd never seen, even if it was a big bomb, you know, it was like, oh, something new. And I think what's happened over the course of time is people got afraid of new, because they didn't know what they were going to see. All of a sudden it got to be a really expensive evening. All of a sudden it got to be, well, we only have one evening out a month. Where are we going to put our money? Where are we going to put our time? And so now we want to see something safe. We want to know that we're going to have a good time. We want to know that we're, you know, and I think that but I also see the pendulum swing. You know, you look at this season, there were 5 revivals and 10 new musicals. I think that's great. You know, regardless of what you think about any of those musicals, that's a sea change. I think that's significant. You know, it's funny. People think I'm serious. A lot of people think I'm serious. And I think some of it has to do with the fact that my face in repose is sort of, but I also tend to be fairly reserved unless I really know the people I'm with and I'm really comfortable. My daughter and I joined this all ages choir at church, and we meet every Wednesday and we rehearse. And somebody said to me the other day, I had no idea you were funny. You seem so serious. I was so in awe of you. I'm like, me? I don't know. Do I seem serious? I don't think I seem serious, but I guess if you don't know me, maybe I seem serious. I haven't got a serious bone in my body.